Hi, it's Arnitha Webb, and I'm going to try something different. I'm going to do something different. Many of you, know me, semi-know me or whatever, but I kind of hold close to my heart things about my personal movements. I'm from a generation where we just didn't share so freely, okay? But I get a lot of questions about this. So I decided I'm going to, do something different, go out on a limb. If you want something different, you do something different, right? And I'm going to start sharing with you how I got my first property in Costa del Sol, Spain. Now, before I begin, let me give you a backdrop. Um, Over the years, when I was doing my research on how to Black sit, on how to find a place in this world where I could thrive, I came down with the key things that was most important to me. And then I narrowed down those countries that had those key things that was important to me. Okay, this is a very personal endeavor when you're gonna, spend time living outside of the country, especially if you're considering it as a permanent relocation, right? A true Black sit. So and in addition to that, I was, using my educator side of my expertise at that time. So when I went abroad as an education consultant. That's how I was making my money. I picked up clients abroad too, and I had my other company, which is now closed, unfortunately, due to COVID, World Citizens Academy. So I was really planning trips to take student groups abroad to Spain, Switzerland, and Italy. That was my stick. Okay, that was what I did. Um, and I had this thing about visiting all the peaceful nations as well. So I had like the educator side, the business side going on, but then I had this personal side of things of wanting to find out where I could go outside of the United States and really, really breathe and be and grow and thrive, right? So Costa del Sol came on my radar, and it started, ticking a lot of the boxes. So of course I made it one of my stops. Now, um, before I left, I used to really watch international, HGTV International. Um, it's a wonderful show. And I had taken down some information, some buildings that the realtors, on the show had taken people to. And so when I got there, I literally walked the walk. I went where they went. I wanted to see if it was quote unquote real. And it was. And honestly, my time there was better than anything I could have anticipated. So I took it a step further. I can't take my entrepreneur hat off. And I actually did what I had to do to become a realtor, to get my own little, portfolio of properties. You could head over to nikki-marbella.com, Nikki, Niki K Marbella, Marbella.com, and see my portfolio of properties. But I walked the grounds. Okay. I met with several developers. I really, really studied the process. I met with lawyers. I made my contacts. I did my due diligence, if you will, right? So, on this video, I am going to share with you what the steps that I took in order to buy my first international property in Costa del Sol. Okay, before we begin, I want to give you a really good idea of the area where we're going to be talking about. So I am going to just show you, and I'm going to use Google Map to do this because it's the easiest, right? So I've already pulled it up, and I don't really have much designated. I just put in Costa del Sol, Spain, so that you can kind of just see it, from a broad view. So here you have Malaga, right? Beautiful city. Can't wait to get back here. And this is one of the many international airports in Spain. Okay. So this is where you would fly in. Now, where I frequented was further south once I landed at the airport. So we are really looking at from the Malaga area all the way down to, I would say, not quite Gibraltar. I would say to Sotogrande, right here, to this area. So you have Malaga, you see Marbella here, another pretty infamous city, right? Puerto Banus is around here, but you have a lot of towns, if you can see along this journey. Like if I was to literally map out from Costa del Sol to Sotogrande, and let's flip it around here, you're going to see a blue line. Let's take out Costa del Sol and just put in Malaga. or Malaga, however you want to pronounce it. And so you see the blue line. Now the blue line is probably representing AP7. They do have a freeway. So when you're traveling along the coastline, and if any of you have ever traveled along the PCH in California, it's very similar. But in Spain, you have a choice of going through all the little towns. And I really encourage you to do that so that you can stop whenever you want and really get the feel of the towns. But you can also, if you're in a hurry, you can also take the freeway because they do have a freeway. It is tolls, but it's another very, very, very scenic route because it takes you up a little higher. It takes you more into the mountains, and it's absolutely stunning. So this is the area really that I personally visited the developments and met with realtors and developers there. So this is the area that I can speak to. Now, further east, I really plan on delving more into the towns that's further east as well, because the developments that's going on there, is amazing, amazing. Okay, so you can keep it going. I don't want to get into this being, all about the coastline of Spain, because, you go further up, you run into Valencia, and of course you keep going, you go to Barcelona, yada, yada, yada. We're going to focus on this area right here. This is the area, and these are the towns that I stopped in, that I walked in, that I made connections in, that I did business in. And just to show you why we're on the map, where I made my first purchase, it was here in Manila. Now, what is the price range of places, brand new places, as a matter of fact, which is what I focus on? Yes, you can buy something that's years old or whatever. It depends on what you want. I tend to focus on the new developments, off-market developments, because that's where you find your best deals. Okay. But in this area, you can really, it's every price range. It's something for everybody. You can find something as low as 150 euro, all the way up to 25 million. Okay, so you can go as elaborate as you want. There's a lot of money. This is a money area. This is a golf area. This is where the Obamas vacation. Okay, so you have a lot of golfing going on out here, but you got a lot of, beach life going on. You have a lot of partying. You got the yachts. You have a lot that's going on, depending on what part of the coastline of Costa del Sol you're on, because you also have the quaint villages, and you have the quiet, and you have all the hiking. You have a bit of every type of lifestyle that you want really along this coastline. So you can delve into a lot. So as I mentioned, I made my purchase in Manila, okay, which is closer to the tip of Costa del Sol, okay. The closer you are to Marbella, as you can imagine, the pricier. I had a price range when I purchased of like no more than 200K. Okay. And so now you got to keep in mind that these prices, if you see it in euro, you're going to have to do the conversion. So in my mind, I was thinking 200K. That was the max that I wanted to go with. So I ended up with 199 euro, which came out to about 214. So I did go a little bit over, but I will share with you why it was okay for me to go over, why I felt it was a good business decision. So this is the Manila area. Now, just to give you an idea of how far, where is the directions? Back to directions. So let's look at Manila. Let's look at Malaga to Manila, just to give you an idea, since Malaga is the airport, right? So if we are driving right now, it's saying at this time of day, it's about an hour away from the airport. Okay, about an hour away from the airport, just to give you an idea of how far away I was from the closest international airport. Okay, now there along the coastline, as you can imagine, and again, because you have all the yachts and the boating that's going on, these are historically fishing villages that's along this coastline. So, a lot of boating. The port that is close to Manila is Duquesa, I believe that's the port. Let's take out Malaga, okay, and here is Puerto Duquesa, and I can show you some pictures actually from my own camera on what this port area looks like. But it looks like this, I can tell you. I would have breakfast, looks like along this area right here. I took pictures over there. So this is accurate, guys. Okay, and I'm just looking on Google, but um, I'm big on seeing things for myself and experiencing things for myself. And if I'm going to open my mouth up about it to someone or on one of these videos, which I'm going to try to do more of, I want to know that I know that I know. Okay, so whenever you see this video, I'm looking at places where I'm telling you I've been. I can, pull some pictures from my camera. Maybe I'll do this, on here. But this is straight from Google. Okay, and this is the port La Duquesa that was um, uh, off of Manilva. Okay, and so you have yeah, beautiful, 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 beautiful area, beautiful weather, beautiful people. Okay, just to support what I was saying about from my own camera, I have a few pictures like grouped in this folder here. This is not like all of my pictures from this area, but I just wanted to show you because like this is from my camera. We were just looking at the pictures that were right there on Google, and you see, and this is La Duquesa. This is like one of the mornings I came down to La Duquesa to just take a walk. This was like along that side that was on the picture in Google. I found like a favorite breakfast spot here. This is just one of the ways you can turn into this little area here where you can come eat and shop or what have you. But this is just me out and about in that area. So I wanted you to see all of it is not La Duquesa. So that's why I stopped, because some of these are different areas, but all along that Costa del Sol um, area that we're talking about. Okay, this is just some. So now let's shift a bit and let me share what I saw when I was actually viewing properties. Okay, guys, so number one, the thing that I want you to know is that when you contact me and you are ready to literally, view some places, whether it's online or you want to go over there and walk the grounds like I did, and I'm looking forward to, maybe in the future doing some group trips where we can do this together. But the first place that was on my radar was a development called Blue Sunset. And forgive me if these are not perfect pictures, because I've never had any intentions on sharing them. This was just for me. So this was the first place that I went to where they were building 48 apartments, 2 and 3 bedrooms, swimming pool, gardens, all the stuff that you could see. What I want you to take notice of is this price right here. So the first place I was looking at had apartments that were starting as low as 129, but round this up to 130 euro. Okay. And I think I've mentioned earlier that you can find things that's like starting at 150. Look at this. I actually, the proof doesn't lie. I actually found something that was under 150. So let's take a look at what I saw for that place that was under 150. So starting out, this was their finished rendition of what it would look like. And now when I approached this property, let's see if I have a picture of the street. We were really driving up into a construction area. No, that's not it. I don't think I have it in this particular folder. I know I have it in my camera. I don't have it on this particular folder. So let's just keep it moving. So this is the finished rendition of what the building would look like. It didn't have a large land footprint. Okay, this was one of the smaller developments. And parking, I believe, was underneath here. So this is what it would look like. So these were very, modest sized condos. And this, on the day that I went there, was the sales sheet that the realtor had then. So you could see they had a lot sold, and they were still looking at, still had units that was ready to go at 134.8, 149. So you can see I was really well underneath my price point. And then if you look up here at the top on the penthouse floor, of course, these were going at 219, 198, 209 at the penthouse, on the penthouse level. Okay. And you have to keep in mind, you know, the units are priced depending on their location within the building, right? Within the block. And you see here where it's saying block 1 and block 2, and you can see how the building is. This block here had higher elevation. Okay, so of course, if you look here for block 1, where the one that's left, it was being priced at 219.8. Of course, because the higher you are, the better the view, the more the cost. So this sales sheet, the reason why I took it like this picture here for my, again, for my purposes, was because it made sense. You know, their pricing structure really, really did make sense. Okay, now let's take a look at, bye-bye. Let's take a look at floor plan. Let me see if I can find a better view. This one here looks a little clearer to me, and you could spin this around. But, you know, I was really, really doing my due diligence for my own purpose, for my own purchase, but also, no, I don't even know at this time if I was even thinking in terms of becoming a realtor for out there. This was more for my own purposes. Okay, so you guys, you can see I was taking a lot of pictures for my own purposes, you know, of the layouts, and it looks like I was really taking getting the actual picture of the apartment layout for ones that I was interested in, because the ones here, and I can tell by the shading, is different from the picture that's here. So this layout here would be different from the one that's over here. So I was really doing my due diligence here. Now let's take a walk inside here, because I do have some pictures of us walking into the place. Okay, this is, and let me just double check something. Okay, so this is actually inside of Blue Sunset. Very, very basic apartment, sliding doors, beautiful, beautiful tiled floors. I will say that everything, I touch everything when I'm viewing places. And my husband, God rest his soul, was a contractor. So I learned a lot about building materials. I learned a lot about looking at finishes and looking for cover-ups and things of that nature. I learned a lot from my husband. So I was touching and looking at a lot of details. And this was my introduction to the building, the new buildings over there. And I was impressed with the materials, because they were very, very solid, nothing flimsy. They don't really skate on these places, you know. And I learned later on, they go through a lot of checks and balances, a lot of checks and balances with their construction. The doors are not the cheapest doors. That's, you know, that, you know, we can go in Home Depot and look at doors, right? And anybody who's ever done a reno, you know, like sometimes materials aren't as expensive as people think, right? So the doors were not the cheapest. The doors were heavy. The doors were sturdy. Everything that I was seeing in this place, especially for the price point, you know, we were really talking about these tiles and what they were made of. I'm not an expert in this area, but again, I know a little something. And I know if any of you remember, there was a case a while ago with lumber liquidators. Okay, we see the commercials all over the place, especially on the East Coast. Well, they were getting a lot of their flooring done in China and different places that had chemicals in it that was causing all kind of respiratory issues. People were buying this tile and whatever. So, you know, I was asking a lot of questions about where the building materials came from, because that mattered to me, right? So that's just what we're looking at here, looking at a bathroom. You probably see me here like taking a picture, but talking to the realtor again about the details. And you may wonder why she's taking, you know, a picture in the corner of the tile of the wall or what have you. Look, put it like this: if you're gonna make, if I'm gonna be involved in my own purchase, but in a purchase to help you find something, I want to do my best to know, for you to trust um, what you're being presented, especially if you're buying something internationally, especially if you're not there throughout the building process to know how these stages go, especially when you're buying off plan, especially when you know, it may be an additional property, it may be something you won't even see like right away. You know, you need to trust in who is presenting this to you, who is selling this to you, who is building this, right? So that's, it is what it is with me. Okay. So that let's look at oh, I was taking a picture of the manufacturers of the kitchen appliances, you know, because again, I wanted to look up, you know, and know who the manufacturers were for the appliances, you know, the overheads and what have everything. Took a picture of, you know, the type of locks that are commonly used on the doors. Like now, this is just an everyday lock. I think, you know, I'm looking at a place that's like 139, guys, and look at the deadbolts that's in here. And we're talking about one of the safest areas in the world. Let's not forget that. Let's not forget that. Okay, we are talking about one of the safest areas in the world. And ordinary lock. And here's another deadbolt that you lock from the inside. But yeah, I took note of that as well. Okay, let's see. This, I'm not quite certain if I was getting an idea of the point of view of the apartment that I was looking at as a potential a purchase for Blue Sunset, or perhaps another property, because quite honestly, after I visited Blue Sunset, I mean, it was just a day of visiting one after another after another. Then I had to go back and make my rounds again and have more substantive meetings. And then, you know, of course, I eventually went into you know, building up my connections and relationships. So I was truly walking on the lots, walking up the hills, walking to see where, walking with the plans to see where certain units were, so that I could get an idea on where the point of view would be on off of the balcony or off of the bedroom. Okay. You can even see here, Richard, my business partner, is like walking ahead of me. We're, you know, coming down off of a hill after looking at a lot. And you know, we were measuring out everything. I was even taking pictures of shrubbery. Okay. This is actually Blue Sunset. This is the start of that plan, the base of that plan. It is finished now, by the way, guys. From the time that I initially saw this, it is finished and completely, from what I understand, sold out. I think they have some units that people are reselling, because, you know, you have a lot of investors that go down and they buy off-plan properties just to, you know, put them back on the market, because you can clear within a couple of years, you know, definitely six figures, 100,000 plus, just by doing that. Okay. So I did not ultimately buy at Blue Sunset. Okay. I ultimately bought at Pure South. And again, yeah, as you know, I did go a little bit over, but you'll see why. But this is where I ultimately bought. Now at Blue Sunset, they do have a partial model open. It's not the full apartment, but they have a partial where you can really go in and see the materials and what have you. And this is just an enclosure of the balcony when you go in to see the model. Okay, and this was the view that day. This was the view. This is the inside of the smallest unit in Pure South. The inside of the smallest unit of Pure South. Okay. And so as you can see, you can do a 3-seater at the counter. All of these apartments come with the appliances, of course, and small table, which is they have a 4-seater comfortably there. When you are looking at the apartment from this angle, you notice this wall right here is coming out just a bit. They have plans also where the wall is flush. Okay, this particular layout needed a little more extension there. So what is on the other side of this wall is actually a master bedroom, a bedroom and bathroom. Okay, so yeah, that's what's there. Okay, beautiful tiling. This is actually built into the unit. If you want them to not put it there, you just say so. This is just from another angle of the unit, looking out onto the balcony of their model, closer up of the kitchen and the 3-seater. And here I go again, guys, having these long discussions with builders about materials. Okay, looking at tiling, looking at their selections that they have, going into the different options for the sinks. I ask a lot of questions, but not but very pointed. I know what I'm asking when I am touring, looking at choices of tiles. If you remember, a little ways back, the tiles were the larger square here. Okay, here is another option. Okay, so the way they put together their models, like when we go into model homes over here, we're walking into something that looks like all we got to do is bring our suitcase and move in, right? Well, over there, their models are really set up to show you options. So you'll go into the kitchen and you'll look up at the cabinets and you'll see different colors because they're showing you all the different colors. They're showing you the materials. They're showing you the options right there. So here, you see a different floor over here, you see a different floor here, because as you're walking through, they're showing you different options. The built-ins in the closets, all of that is included. It's not like, again, you come into some of the builders here, and as you're looking at things, it's not included in the price unless you're looking at, what builder is it? I don't know if it's Lennar, or I know I can see the E and the I where it means everything included, meaning what you see is what you get. But that's not the case with most of our builders over here, our DR Hortons and KBs and so forth. A lot of the stuff that we're seeing in our model homes here is extra. So here, that's not the case. These built-ins that's in the closet, the reason why I had the door open is because I'm looking at the material and the color, because you have a choice in the color selection. Okay, you have a choice in your floors, and as you're walking through the model, that's what you're seeing. So here you see the darker wood here for your inside buildings. Look again at the differences in the flooring. Okay, when you're looking at these models here, when you go over there, be prepared. And even if you were to have to do a walkthrough, a virtual walkthrough, don't be taken aback if they're walking you through a model that has all these differences shown. Don't think that you're going to buy the place and it's going to have all these different floors. That's very intentional in the models to show you your options, okay? Rather than taking you in the office afterwards and opening up a book, you actually have walked on the floor that you're going to choose. So here, the lighter wood inside the closet, your drawers, I'm thinking, as I'm walking through here, I'm thinking about furniture that I don't have to buy if I buy this, or if I'm going to use it as an Airbnb. Okay. Okay, that's what I'm looking at. The things that people can could have here. Look at the walls, guys. Look at the walls. You have one set of tiles here on the left, another set of tiles here on the right. Look at the difference in the sink in this bathroom. Okay, because remember, I told you they're showing you differences, as you walk through. So it's a very informative, they cover a lot of ground. Put it like that. You don't have to turn around and spend another hour looking in books or go to another showroom to look at your material options. You can really like make note and start thinking about your picks as you're walking through this model. Okay. And you may even hear a closer up again of the tiles. Okay, you may even see a difference in the sink here just from the mirror on the other side. So yeah, it is a great experience. Me going up close again, looking and touching and feeling the workmanship. Okay, looking at the kitchen, opening up the fridge so that you can see the inside of the fridge, your dishwasher, your I want to say convection, and I hope I'm not saying the wrong thing. Induction, I think it's induction tops. This is very common. This is very common, guys, in Spain, okay? Especially in anything that is newer or has been renovated. So it's common. We may have some different colors here on the tile. This may look a little lighter than over here. Okay. Another view of the kitchen that you would be getting in Pure South, and a rendition of Pure South when it's done. This is a much bigger community than Blue Sunset, much bigger. And the amenities, when I tell you there was a reason why I went over, there's a reason. Okay, now, of course, after I viewed Pure South, I had to go to my next stop, which was in Estepona, and I had to have lunch. So this is where I had lunch at the port that was off of Estepona, and I don't remember the name of the port, but just sharing more from my personal files, guys. Okay. Okay, so let's just keep moving. All right, just more random pictures. Estepona, I don't know, this day, oh, this was right before we walked down to the port. We went and parked. So we were in the town, and we just took a walk, and I was just taking picture. It was like an overpass there. Just a random picture, no reason. Okay. I'm not quite sure if this is Pure South finishes. It may be. I think so. Because I became very, very enamored with I had a feeling that it was going to be a place I was going to come back to a few times to make my own personal purchase. So this may be oh, now this one here is not, this is not Pure South, but again, I'm taking pictures of finishes for these new developments. Okay, and here, as I mentioned to you, my pictures back up everything that I say. These kitchens are going to show you different finishes, so you look at all the different colors that you can choose from when you are having your condo built. Okay. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Differences in the wall coloring. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Is nothing better. I love buying properties more than clothes these days. Oh gosh. Walking the grounds and just, daydreaming and looking through a fence, because, some of these properties you gotta, again, I was looking at off plans. A lot of my visits was off plan. So I'm walking on, ground that hasn't been broken, and a lot of, and some of these, and some of them it started, but yeah. Okay, this picture here, you may think, where's Arnitha going with this picture? I was looking at a unit and how high up that unit was, and they had not built up that high yet. So I walked up to another area of the hill to kind of gauge out approximate where the apartment would be, how high up it would be, and what the potential view of the Mediterranean would be. I was having the time of my life. Okay. Okay. And what I was seeing here, if you see, it was some building that was started there for another area of this development. And I was looking to see, based on the height of these buildings, of these condos or townhouses, whatever they were building there, they would not obstruct the view of the ones that were being built behind it. So again, I'm walking my way back. I'm looking at different units because I have plans with me, and I'm looking to see what the views would be. And as they're telling me the heights and the elevations of the building, what a person would be seeing on their balcony, to make sure that they're not looking into someone else's living room and balcony, that they are actually still seeing the Mediterranean or the rooftops or whatever it is that you're going to really see if you're going to make this investment. And so, guys, if you're wondering, like, why always, the fence, the fence, you got to remember, I'm walking on like, construction sites and sites that are private property sites where these developers have bought to build on. So I have to be, I have to be very careful about where I could walk, where I was allowed. And because I was now talking to them in partnership, I was able to walk up to these areas because, if you went to see, these units, these were areas that was not just for a buyer to walk on, but I was talking business. So I was able to come up to these areas, but I still had to be, behind this fencing. And again, I am gauging and measuring, based on how high things are being built, on what the views are, because the view is everything. It's everything, right? So imagine, take away the fence. You're going to have to get creative when you are buying off-plan properties. You really are. You have to think in terms of, there's no fence. This is a beautifully finished property, and pools, pristine pools, infinity pools, all kind of stuff is going on. And you're like sitting off of your balcony, and what you see is not into someone else's house, but you're seeing it from, where you can look out and see the Mediterranean there, and the rooftops and what have you. So you have to get a little creative and use your imagination. Okay, now we're back to the inside. Okay, this looks similar to let's go back. This is this looks like a duplicate of one that we looked at earlier. Oh, it's a video. I'll play it. I don't know if you're going to hear it. Okay, but let's see. Okay, guys, that was only 18 seconds, but you got a glimpse of me just kind of like walking through there. Yeah. Let's just take a break from our quick tour. And I just want to share with you, this was my balcony view when I would go back to my hotel at night after my day out with the developers. And I would have a view of the Rock of Gibraltar. And this was my skyline in the evenings, guys. And ladies, for those of you who are still waiting on someone to do these things that you have in the back of your mind that you're dreaming about doing, the thing that I can tell you is to just do it. I did these tours by myself. I was traveling solo. I was traveling solo and making these connections solo. You have me now, so please feel free to call, to contact me, get on my list. Again, I would love to, especially my heart goes out to couples and single women who want to do this. Maybe we could get together and do a shared group trip and just really see the area and walk through the process. I'm here for that. But I did this on my own, so I'm here to tell you that you can do it. I made my first purchase at Pure South. Okay, I'll share with you my contracts and what have you as we move forward. But this was just a little pause for the cause to share with you my view in the evenings there and to let you know that you can do this. And then when I would wake up in the morning, this is what the morning view would look like, guys. Okay. Now I was there right, I mean, like maybe weeks before the tourists would really descend on the area. As a matter of fact, as I was leaving, I was, cars and buses coming in because this area of Costa del Sol, period, is a super popular vacation destination in the summer months. It is packed during the summer months. So, but it was just an amazing, absolutely amazing. Um, I didn't need to share that. Okay, on second thought, I will share something about breakfast. I will tell you, jamon, ham, is super popular in Spain, right? Bacon is not like, for those of us who are from the South, I'm talking South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, bacon. Okay, we like our bacon. It's different. It's different. You're not going to find slab bacon like what we're used to. Okay, this is about as close. You get some slices of ham and tell them to cook it well so you have a little crisp on the side or something. Okay, but you will find some places that have like an American style breakfast if that is your choice for breakfast food. You will find some places there, and of course, fresh squeezed orange juice. They don't do contained orange juice and concentrate and all that stuff. Everything is fresh orange juice and the best coffee. Without saying, it was just automatic. Automatic. Okay, so let me take you to my website, nikki-marbella.com, nikki-marbella.com, because this is a site that you can go to and you can see some more of the properties that are in Costa del Sol, and definitely fill out an inquiry if you are interested in making your first or an additional purchase in southern Spain. Okay. Now, ironically, I didn't put the property that I bought on my own site, so I got to rectify that. So I'm going to just jump right over to Pure South direct website, Pure South Manila. That is their direct site, and you'll see all the gallery pictures, everything. I'm not going to walk through their website with you because you can do that on your own, but I will point out a few things. Why did I go over my 200 price mark, right? So when I was there, I found that a lot of properties that was within my price point had some very similar features. They all had the pools, they all had the gyms, many of them had clubhouses, some did not, but they all had the basic things. But Pure South had a few things that was a little different. Okay, and let's see if I can kind of jump to those those differences. Okay, let's see here. Now, let's look at some things that stood out to me that were a little different. Okay, yes, they had the pool, but here, look at this sauna room. Look at this sauna room. None of the other developments had this. This is when if I want to resell it, Airbnb it, whatever I want to do, this is a huge selling point. And guys, if you're thinking about this as a short-term investment, you don't have to just think in terms of during the vacation season to have it rented out, because you have the Rock of Gibraltar that's right there. You have a lot of people, that's a city. You have people who are looking for long-term units too. So if you want to go ahead and do a long-term rental, I do have a team on the ground. They do property management, and they are managing anywhere from condos all the way up to multi-million dollar villas for people. So they can manage your property and make sure that everything is good. Okay, this is the clubhouse for Pure South, guys. The clubhouse. I mean, this one, in terms of comparing apples to apples, this was something that was everywhere. A gym was everywhere, pools are everywhere. But in terms of really comparing apples to apples, Pure South just had these additional features within the price point that I wanted. These are not out of the ordinary features. If I wanted to go to 250, 300, a little over three, then, you know, of course, you're getting more and more and more and more and more. But they decided to put a few additional things in here, you know, and keeping it at the low price point. So that's why I went a little over for my first purchase. I think I made a good decision. Okay, so let's look at some meat and potatoes, shall we? All right, so I think I already had that open, but anyway, let's look at what the documents look like. Okay, when you want to put a deposit down and make a purchase. First of all, I decided to buy off plan. That's the best deal. Okay. I also decided not to apply for a mortgage because based on the timeline that the apartment would be ready, it wasn't like I needed to move in tomorrow. My goal was to have it paid off mortgage free. And you can do this when you buy off plan. You can take 2 or 3 years and just do, you know, it's like putting a place on layaway. Okay. So what did I put down? I actually put down 20%. So I put down 6,600 euro. Okay, 6,600 euro. In terms of, I'm not going to go all the way into all the little nooks and crannies in this video. You know, I'm learning this whole thing about sharing my personal business anyway, but I definitely looked into the legal team, the lawyers that I deal with there, and I am definitely connected with one of the most prominent law firms there. I'll go into that a little later, but you want to feel secure when you're putting out money in a foreign country. So I really asked questions about you know, the process and being sure that things are being met, and they're very regulated. I was surprised they have a lot, like we talk about you know, loosening regulations in banking and all these different areas here in the United States, and it's quite the opposite over there. They're very regulated over there. For protections of both parties, for protections of us, the investor, and protections for the builders as well. And so it actually made me very, very comfortable that they're so heavily regulated. So again, this is my Pure South contract. 6,600 was what I put down. Once you put that down, you then you basically have a what is this? You have a payment schedule. Like I said, it's like layaway. This was actually a diagram that was showing my point of view from my my unit. That's what that was. I'm clicking on these as we go. This was actually the floor plan of the unit that I bought. And full transparency, the unit that I bought was very similar to the pictures that I shared with you. So I bought one of the smallest units there. This is my first international purchase, my first of many. And so you see my entrance. If you remember the kitchen that was off to the left, if you remember, it had enough for 3 seats at the counter. My unit here was slightly different, because it does have like it was just slightly different. That's all I'll say. And here in this diagram, it's a slightly bigger. So they had, 6-seater table there. But you see, remember when we walked through the door and we were looking through that view, you actually saw straight through to the patio, right? Patios out there, by the way, are pretty large because, indoor, outdoor living is a given when you live in a climate like this. The bedrooms are all off to the left. I did make a change to have a bathtub instead of a shower in my bedroom. Okay. But yeah. Okay. Oh, and by the way, guys, for my money transfers for my property, I used Currencies Direct, a company called Currencies Direct. Okay. Okay. So my team, guys, uses the lawyers Manzanares. And let me share with you what a payment structure looks like. Okay. Did I say 214? I'm so sorry. It's 223 came. That was my final. Okay. You have to take into account too the fluctuations in the currency exchange and what have you. Okay. So my reservation deposit, first payment, you see they break it down in stages. So you know, when you're paying. Now, personal experience, is there any flexibility in this? It is. Of course, we don't want to have to say, hey, give me more time on something, but it is. What I found in my personal experience in dealing with all of the entities involved is communication is everything. They're very easygoing, laid back people. And communication is everything. Usually the answer is, okay, just let us know when. And it's really that simple. They almost will do, I mean, you're going to do a lot not to lose your money, but they are doing a lot to make sure you don't lose your money as well, because they're trying to do business. They're trying to sell apartments, right? They're selling condos and villas. So this is like the breakdown. So by the time you get ready to move in, your unit is really paid for in full. And along the way, my team, they make sure, they send pictures, they're watching everything. The lawyers are making sure all the checks and balances, because it's so, when I tell you they have regulations over there, they have regulations. It make me think like, oh, wow, we don't want regulations. But anyway, that's a whole nother conversation that I don't want to get into. My point of this is for you to walk away with opening up your mind to the possibilities. Okay. The possibilities that, maybe look in places that you hadn't considered. Don't take someone's word for what it feels like there, how the people are, what the opportunities are. Like, go see for yourself. This is just one location that I can speak to. As I get more and more comfortable with sharing more about my personal purchases and personal things, I'm looking forward to buying many more properties, a few more. I got my eye on a few places there, but in other places around the world as well. So I'm stepping out on the limb on faith, and I'm going for it. I want to have Airbnbs international. I want to have properties international, ladies. And this really was my first endeavor to let me know you can do anything you want. Don't wait for anybody. Don't wait for anybody. Okay. So my name is Arnitha Webb. Make sure you subscribe. Stick with me on this as I start building up this channel. Definitely, if you plan on getting on a plane, check me, Insurancepreneur Vault. Of course, I'm the international insurance queen, but life insurance, any kind of, financial protections, building your business credit, definitely check your girl out.